Now, is that going to be after that 2-second transition? Or, okay.
Should we pause a little bit before we start talking?
I got it. Don't worry about it. Live from the Icebox Theater in Montgomeryville, Pennsylvania, it's the Bill and Corey Show. I'm Bill.
And I'm Corey.
Yeah, this week we're going to review recent specialty gas equipment tech support questions. Our first question for Corey, read this verbatim. Will the gas watcher system work to monitor my propane and oxygen cylinders that are used for welding purposes? Will the battery and electronics system be a fire hazard in the welding purpose use? My pressures for both gases are 0 to 30 psi. Can more precise gauges be used for gas watcher? And the other question is it a Bluetooth connection? Can I get the reading and notifications on an iPhone? So it's a bunch of questions. But the main part we're going to address today is intrinsically safe environments for pressure indication, remote pressure indication. What do you want to grab? Oh, there you go.
So this is our gas watcher. It is a digital gauge as well, and it sends a Bluetooth signal to a router that you can check on your phone or computer. This one is not intrinsically safe, though. It has electronics in it and things of that nature that make it not intrinsically safe. This is our Pulsa pressure transducer. Now, as you notice, it's not a gauge that has a reading on it, so a lot of times we accompany this with a regular gauge. And we put this on here, and this as well will send a Bluetooth signal to a router, and then it will be able to be picked up on your phone or computer, and you can get readings. And actually, both of these have very nice graphs that you can track your readings. People will even be able to notice that their cylinders are getting lower quicker than normal and be able to investigate that, oh, we might have a leak or something. So it can save money in that way as well. They do both take monthly fees to use them because of the communication part of them as well.
It gets loaded up to the cloud.
Yes, it gets loaded up to a
cloud. Well, this one is
intrinsically safe.
Well, we sell a standard one that's not. You can also order this, intrinsically safe. And many times we integrate these components in with a switchover system.
Yes.
So you order it and you want the intrinsically safe Pulsa, you can do that.
And this one has one of the codes on it that you can just look at your phone, and it gives you the directions right on it how to use it.
Okay. Then the other thing we sold before all this Bluetooth stuff is indicating pressure switch. I'll talk about this. Yeah, this is our indicating pressure switch, and it can be used for remote activation. It's got a little red indicator on there you set to your set pressure. We typically set it for 100 psi above the switchover pressure, and it's got just a couple wires there. You hook that up to a PM24, and you get remote indication when your cylinder is empty. And then we've got, if you want to have remote indication and you don't want all the Bluetooth stuff, this we use on switchover systems and panels. This Ashcroft F series, it's intrinsically safe pressure switch. So we'll set that up on the system, and then you'll have to wire into that to a PM24 or another alarm indicator. And I think that's it. You want to talk about accuracy? One of the questions here is that accuracy, he's looking for 30 psi.
So right now our Pulsa is a 0 to 2900 psi G pressure transducer that is plus or minus 0.25% throughout the full scale, so that's about plus or minus 15 psi. And so that would probably be tough for that to work, but we could talk to our supplier, and I'm almost positive we can get a lower pressured transducer that could be more accurate for the 0 to 30 psi G range. Okay.
Yeah, and the gas watcher is a plus or minus 0.5%. I think you might have your math wrong on that. 2.5 would be less. It'd be like 7.
Okay.
It's plus or minus 15 psi full range. We do have a lower range transducer. We use 500 psi for a lower system, so that would work in that. And then, of course, the indicating pressure switch, that's plus or minus 3% at the lower end, so you're not going to get it. It's 120 psi. This is a 4,000. We can have a 200 psi indicating pressure switch. And then, okay. Second question is for me. One of my customers recently purchased a model 3128A 580. They're sending it for use at a customer site in Belgium, and they want to find out if it's compatible with a helium cylinder from Air Liquide in Belgium. Now we double checked, and what they're using is an AFNOR-C connection. That's kind of like a French CGA connection. We can make a regulator with an AFNOR-C inlet connection. Good. Okay, for Corey, in your regulator description for a 3120A, get the relief valve. There we go. Right there. 3120A series, there's a statement, optional interstage relief valve available. What is the part number for the relief valve, and is there a 250 psi relief valve for this regulator? We really won't get into the part number for that. So,
but we can always make one up and sell it, so the part number. But this is our relief valve. It is a poppet check valve. And for these regulators, the 3120 3120A series, the interstage relief, or the interstage pressure is set to about 350 psig. So a 250 psig relief valve wouldn't work in this case. So we would set it to about roughly 525 psig in order for it to properly relieve the pressure inside the regulator.
Yeah, we'd set the interstage relief valve to 1.5 times the interstage pressure of 350. So actually, the 250 psi, if you set it at 250, it will work. It'll just relieve it.
Yeah, it'll just be relieving the whole
just drain
time.
your cylinder down. Hey, I needed help choosing a regulator. I'm using sulfur hexafluoride gas from a standard K-type bottle, and I want to be able to control the outlet flow rate at 5 CFM for leak detection. So this is many answers to this question.
Yes, there are, and we actually disagreed about the nature of the question, but we'll get into that later. This is our 18 series regulator. It flows under the best conditions at about 15 SCFM. And of course, with regulators, the pressure going in and the pressure going out will affect the flow rate. This is our 3120 or 3530
series.
3530A series, which is a single stage regulator as well. A dual stage regulator would not work for these flows. And this one flows about 8 SCFM under its best conditions. And so either one of these could work for your application. When I read the question, I saw that he wants to control the outlet flow, so I was thinking that we also wanted and you didn't grab
I didn't grab a rotometer.
What we can do on the outlets of regulators with special requests, we can add a rotometer that you can also then control the flow on the outside of it as well. And so in this case, it'd just be an A122 flow meter. It's a high flow meter, and that one would be able to help you control the flow as well in the outlet.
Yeah, that's our FM 1100.
Yes.
There's also the 1127, which is a FM 1100. It's a shorter version of the 1127, about that high. Okay. We have been using a Leak Hunter Plus 8066 to detect small helium leaks. Today it stopped working, and it switched to other gases, no luck. He thinks the capillary tubing may be blocked. And he wants to know what we can do about it. The 8066 we stopped making that and selling that in 2019. We can accept them back for repair. We do have some parts that we can swap out that we have for this. So if you send it back, we do have a chance to, we might be able to fix it here. Okay, flash arrestors for 200. Can we get a flashback arrestor rated for trimethylsilane or ammonia? Now this is on a system that we're designing for a customer, and this is our 6104B flash arrestor. It's stainless steel. These are rated for acetylene, oxygen, air, hydrogen, methane, ethylene, and I think I got all the gases here. Oh, and propane. These are BAM certified, which is like a German equivalent of UL listings. So they're tested that they'll be acceptable for those gases, and they're at certain pressures. So this might not work for ammonia or trimethylsilene. What's kind of interesting, these things, they look at it and you think, oh, it's just something with magic beads inside. It's not that's what you kind of look at it. But no, there's a lot of things going on here. It's got an element that spreads out the flame so it can be extinguished. There's a check valve in here. Mm-hmm. There's a high temperature shutoff, and there's an inlet filter. So there's a lot of things going on in this, and it's not just some magic beads. Okay. It's for Corey. Mm-hmm. We don't have any props for this one. I have a model 3571-180 regulator with a 180 stem for a lecture bottle. I want to adapt it to a standard CO2 tank and need to order the correct stem for the inlet. So,
in this case, stem meaning the CGA fitting, and we sell the CGA 350 for this regulator. And you can, most of our fittings, our CGA fittings, you can find on our online store as well. We have a large selection, and even ones that aren't on the online store, we probably have as well, or can get.
Yeah, it's something we need to bring up is that we don't recommend changing gas services for regulators, because there could be some things in the regulator that were left over from the previous gas service that might interfere with your new gas service. Take an example. Let's say I have a regulator using it for some dirty gas like methane or something, and there's hydrocarbons left inside of it, and then you put it in oxygen service. You could have a fire. You could also have corrosion particles from something. You use it for hydrogen chloride. Now you want to use it for nitrogen. Now you got corrosion stuff that can be messing up your system.
One exception would be like going from an inert gas to another one. So like if you're using it for nitrogen.
Well, that's, same CGA. And they're changing from a lecture bottle.
Yes.
180. Well, the 180, to be careful, because that's the universal lecture bottle thing. But it's... so
in this case, it's assumed that they're going from a CO2 lecture bottle to a larger CO2 tank.
Yeah, that's what they were doing. Okay, here's the model 3030 regulator, and you had... we don't have a prop. We don't have a prop for that, too. Fluctuating drastically.
So this one, I'm still not sure if the problem's been solved by going back and forth with the customer, but one of the things recommended, and to look at if your regulators are flowing strangely, is to always check the inlet filter to see if somehow it got clogged. And you can typically easily clean those, but yeah.
If you see some stuff
you see some stuff in there.
Yeah, you can pick it out, like Teflon tape or something.
Yes. Sometimes things can get in there, or sometimes the gases can be dirty. Sometimes coming out of the cylinder can cause problems as well.
Yep. Oh, we saw a bee inside of a regulator once.
Oh, that'll affect the flow rate. And you wanted to speak on the piston regulator?
Oh, yeah. And yes, this is the model 3030 and the 3040 series are piston regulators. Most of the regulators we sell are diaphragm regulators. So with a piston, it goes up and down. It's got a seal in there. So piston regulators can be a little jumpy for pressure regulation. So that's something that could have affected their situation. Okay, well that's all the questions we have for this week. Next week is Thanksgiving, and we're not doing a live show next week. We're going to do a best of Bill and Corey show.
if there is any best of yet.
There is it's always best of. There's best of. We're not doing the worst of. What we think is the best of. So it'll be something. It might be short. It might be long. So you're going to have to tune in next week and
set your VCRs for 10 o'clock next Thursday.
Hey, thanks and goodbye.